Welcome everyone to ClanTour 3.0. We are officially live and kicking off the 8-team bracket here as we have our first best of 3 match coming at you. We have the Lazy Feline here on the Legion side taking on Willowkeeper here on the Hellborn side. I'm going to be your main shoutcaster. What you got? And I'm going to be joined by a co-caster here, EZfullClan. How's it going today, John?
Man, right after Thanksgiving, we got this weekend full of Han. I'm really excited to see how these teams, the elite players of the community, have kind of are going to shape up the meta of the ever shifting Han meta. So I'm really excited to see it, and good to be here with you, Wig.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time here since you and I've gotten a chance to cast, but not too long. As I think we're gonna have quite a bit of fun today. We got 4 best of 3 series here coming at you, and this is obviously the first one, so a pretty good one to say the least. I've actually gotten a chance over the past 2 weeks or so to cast both of these teams, and both teams looking very solid and very promising here. I'm expecting a very good best of 3 series. So we got the drafts already underway. The bans are completed, so we got to go over them. We got Moira, Electrician, and Nymphora banned from the side of Lazy Feline. Andromeda, Monarch, and Kraken going to be banned from the side of Willowkeeper. Does anything in the ban stick out to you there, John?
I think they're all pretty standard, based off of some of the man. Last time we did a series together was probably several months ago, but the new one that's sticking out to me is the Kraken ban, and that's got to be due to how strong his whirlpool is these days, right?
Yeah, so his ultimate has the restrain now. As long as they are in the release of Kraken, they don't have to be in the center anymore. Um, but yeah, obviously if you get in the center, you get pulled more. So very strong ultimate against heroes with escape abilities, and very powerful semi-core option these days.
Yeah, so I really think that that's kind of the reason. Kraken just seems like a really strong hero with that these days. I mean, you used to be able to, like you said, used to be able to avoid it with, heroes that have movement abilities, but also specific item pickups, right? Like historically, Tablet of Command was such a fantastic item counter to Kraken to
Hmm.
save your teammates that get caught in it. Now that's no bueno. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a really strong hero now, but we've already got picks, Wig, so what do you got to say
Okay.
about these?
First pick going to be on the Legion side here, going to be the Aluna. So they will value the support choice there for pick number 1. We have Lodestone and Gladiator coming out from the Hellborn side. So they actually go for a pair of core heroes. I'm not expecting Gladiator to be a support here. I'm expecting that to be played in the mid lane. It is a hero that Inhuman likes to play. He's very comfortable on that one. It even gets blind banned quite frequently against him in scrims. And then they have the Lodestone picked up, which, as we know very well, that hero's typically played in either the off lane or a solo lane somewhere. So we already see the different styles coming out. One team going with some support choices here as they also pick up the Cersei. And then we have the core heroes already being picked up on the Hellborn side. But what do you like the picks so far from the two teams?
Yeah, I do, and I'm definitely picking up on the contrast of you know, roles being kind of solidified early on here, right? But the thing about Lodestone and Gladiator were so Gladiator is kind of a flex hero. You kind of did mention that it can be played in a support style, but I think you said Inhuman kind of opts to play it in the mid lane. It's just a really strong mid laner in general. I don't think there's really too many like effective counters to it, right? There's kind of heroes that can kind of stand toe to toe with it, but in my mind, there's not really any hero that shuts it down, so it's kind of always a good mid lane option. And then Lodestone's kind of the same way, where yeah, you feel like it's kind of locked into that off lane or solo position, but it's just such a beast laner, right? It's so tanky, has the escape. I mean, it just functions really well wherever it goes. It doesn't really have too strong of a counter.
Yeah, I agree. Very powerful strength heroes there. Um, so we did see the Cersei coming out in response, and they do also pick up a Midas here. So it looks like we'll have a core Midas. Not too sure where he will go just yet. Possibly a mid lane option against the Gladiator. But yeah, as you pointed out, the Gladiator, he's a very strong mid lane hero. able to output lots of harassment, and doesn't have too many heroes that can deal with him very well. So definitely agreeing with you on those points.
One thing I didn't get to mention about I think it's the Lazy Feline is on the Legion side. That Cersei pick is really standing out to me. I feel like it's not a hero that I kind of see in too many games. Now I haven't been shoutcasting or watching
Hmm.
replays as much as you perhaps, but yeah, Cersei is an extremely frustrating hero to deal with, and I'm not really sure the best way to run it, and so I'm actually really happy to learn what Lazy Feline has in store with it.
Yeah, it's actually not the traditional support hero that we see all that often. And right now, there's not really like a hero it's specifically countering. I feel like, or um, there's like this hero that you really want to take over something like a Tempest ultimate, or even countering a Sandwraith or something like that. But I guess he has some good choices. I guess with the Shatterstorm and the Call to Arms, it is a little bit of an interesting pick. But definitely a support that scales better than most other support heroes. So has the more so late game potential, I would say. Um, Typically, when we see a Cersei, it either works really well because you can get to that point of the game, or sometimes it becomes too weak in laning phase and you start to get ran over in early game. So I
Yeah,
feel like we could see one of those two things happen here.
yeah, I'm right with you where it doesn't have kind of that traditional strong lane presence that we see in a lot of these
Hmm.
quote normal supports, right? Like a Luna or heck, even something like a Myrmidon or a Voodoo comes to mind, but yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of value whenever you take something over like a Tempest or a Sandwraith, like you say, but I think Gladiator and Lodestone are both really good choices if Cersei can kind of get their hands on them. I mean, those are really effective ultis, even if she's underleveled, right? Because her ultimate
Hmm.
scales with the damage, right, as you put additional levels into it. And Call to Arms and Shatterstorm are just fantastic one-point wonders, right? You get their I think the main value of Call to Arms, I would say, is kind of like the damage reduction, and the Shatterstorm is obviously the armor removal. So
Yeah, that's a good
Cersei, if she
point.
can get her hands on those, no matter what level she is, she'll do really well.
Okay, we got the draft actually almost finished here. We'll quickly run through the bands. Sir Bensington, Lord Self-Forest, and Tundra from the Hellborn side. Kronos, Riftwalker, and Engineer coming out from the Legion side. So we have the mixture of core heroes, a couple of carries, and even a support thrown in there with the Engineer. Bands kind of all over the place, but I think from top to bottom, all those heroes seem to be quite powerful choices to kind of supplement the lineups. We have Puppet Master and Master of Arms coming out from Willowkeeper. So they do pick up their third core hero here, being the Puppet Master, and it looks like this will be a Master of Arms second support. I do believe that last pick coming out should either be a primary or secondary support hero, as they are shadow picking the Clanks, but they do have a Puppet Master already. So we see the Witch Slayer coming out on the last pick of the game. And then on the side of Lazy Feline, they finished off their lineup with a Malakin and a Cthulhu font. So both the drafts are now done. John, I want to get your take here on what you think about these two drafts in comparison to each other.
I think that the Legion side is an extremely scary draft. I mean, I'm already anticipating a tri-lane between Witchslayer, Master, and Puppet, though you could see some sort of dual lane mayhem with Lodestone +1, but I think people typically value the levels on that hero, so I anticipate a tri-lane.
Hmm.
Um, which, if it's going tri-lane versus tri-lane, because I kind of expect that Malik and Cersei and Aluna are going to combo, I kind of also agree with your notion that Midas is going to be maybe in the mid lane and Cthulhu is going to be solo. So I think that Tree Willowkeeper has the edge when it comes to tri-lane versus tri-lane. I think the solo lanes are probably going to be. I think the mid advantage goes to Gladiator. I think that hero. I just hate laning against that hero. I don't know how often you step into the mid lane, but every single time that I step into the mid lane against Glad, I just wince. Right? It's really frustrating to lane against. Right? You have to be very on point with your positioning to avoid uh, damage harass from flagellation. And it's just a constant thing that you have to be mindful of, or you just get out of line, or you just kind of fall behind in the laning phase, and then he's frustrating to try and last hit against, right? Because you got the bonus damage from it on denies. So But it looks like, I mean, if I can kind of just skip past all of that, we aren't going to be going tri-lane versus tri-lane. It looks like we're going to have kind of these solo laners trying to survive against tri-lane. So probably going to see early rotations, and just based off of where the ward placement is, that's really, and just reading these rotations, that's actually going to be the key to who gets the early advantage, I think. It doesn't really, it isn't dependent on the actual early lane presence of, these heroes. It's all about rotations in my mind right now.
Yeah, so initially we have the defensive tri-lane from Legion, Malakin, Aluna, and Cersei, and they will be going up against the solo offlaning Lodestone. So yeah, we'll see if there's going to be any adjustments coming out from Legion. I don't know if they want to continue to tri-lane one hero. We talked about the mid lane matchup of Gladiator versus Midas. Master of Arms was in the area. Now he did pick up an orb, so I think he's possibly thinking about maybe eventually going either to mid lane or to bottom lane. But for now, they will be also running a defensive tri-lane against the Cthulhu Font. We see a Puppet Show already coming out in the top lane. There was the Graveyard Stun into the overcharge shot. I do think this will be enough damage for a kill, but we'll see if Master can maybe put some more pressure on him before he's forced to health pot. The Cthulhu Font will go ahead and use the regen there. Similar story in the bottom lane, Lodestone. He hasn't spec'd his rocket drill just yet, but has not come in danger of a kill. So both sides kind of doing a similar thing here with the defensive tri-lanes. Do you think either side benefits if the lanes kind of stay like this, with both the Malakin and the Puppet Master more or less free farming in their respective short lanes?
I think that the advantage certainly goes to Legion. If they're just allowed to play the game tri-lane versus tri-lane, not tri-lane versus tri-lane directly,
Tri-lane
right?
versus
But
solo.
that indirect versus situation where they're kind of just able to control the lane, control their respective resources on their side of the map. I think the advantage certainly goes to Legion. I mean, Malakin, in my view, Malakin is going to farm much faster than Puppet. It will come down to Puppet utilizing his early gold advantage for perhaps getting a shroud and just making his presence felt with early ganks. But
Okay.
also, right, you were talking about how Cersei can kind of fall off in the lane phase because she isn't, if she struggles, it can kind of snowball out of control for her if she falls behind. But if she's able to just kind of get levels from stacking and pulling,
Yep.
and doesn't really have to do any kind of lane support versus other heroes, right, where she actually has to get into combat, then she can just kind of pile on levels and she can kind of do her thing. And as you say, as she transfers into the mid and late game stages, she becomes really, really powerful. So if she's allowed to do that, I kind of worry for Hellborn.
Okay, that's good points. We see Aluna making a rotation middle. Master of Arms was also walking down the top river to potentially come down here, but for now it's still a 1v1 in mid lane, just a little pressure from Aluna coming out. We'll see the runes being camped by both sides. We'll see who wins the rune battle here. It looks like Moa will get the illusion rune here, and Aluna will get the Merrick's rune. Midas, he could be in some trouble since he doesn't have mana for a warp here. He's going to run into the illusion, Master of Arms, and Gladiator. Oh, this could be the Bloodlust kill, and that's going to be the Bloodlust going to the mid laner. I believe he even had the bottle coming, so he will now also have the Marchers to have gold for if he wishes to go for that. That's going to be a great start for him as Midas with just the bottle.
Yeah, that's a really big kill coming out for Legion, or Hellborn rather. And
Showdown coming out here as the Pitfall did land on Aluna. There's the Acid Bomb down. This could be another kill. There's the Golden Apple coming out. And he even used a health pot just to make sure to stay alive there. So he will have to go back to base now as he does avoid death. That was very close for a second kill here in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is going to be really difficult for Lazy Feline to kind of...
gonna land one more time. I don't know if this is enough damage, but the creeps are assisting here. No acid bomb, so Midas will be fine.
Love that showdown TP play from Gladiator, just instantly filling his bottle and returning to lane.
I saw that as well. Good to see that at the high level of play here. Should we take a look at some creep farm? Actually, we have some more action. The Pitfall will be avoided here by Midas. Two-man stun from the Aluna. Transmute, I don't believe it did land, but they do get the kill there on the Master of Arms nonetheless, so a good counter kill coming in from the Legion side.
Absolutely, and I mean, if you're paying attention to creep farming, it looks fairly even right now. I mean, Puppet Master and Malikan having about the an equivalent time, you know, as far as farm goes, and Gladiator with a slight edge in the mid lane over Midas, and he's also got the Bloodlust kill, so that's kind of the reason why he has what 180 GPM over Midas right now, but it can probably even back up if they can just find a return kill on Gladiator at some point, but that Bloodlust is a little bit scary. I mean, like I said, this hero is already frustrating enough, and now he's got the gold lead, so it could kind of get out of control. There's the Flagellation Harass coming on Midas. Always frustrating.
And then Cthulhu versus Lodestone. Looks like Lodestone on 11 and 2, Cthulhu on 5 and 0. Both heroes level 4, so getting the experience relatively equal here, but Lodestone getting a couple more last hits in the bottom lane. So, yep, the early gold lead, 1200 to Hellborn. I think a lot of that's due to the Bloodlust, but they are getting a little bit better creep farm, but not by too much just yet.
Yeah, and I think so. One thing that's slightly better for Hellborn as well is the danger that is present for Cthulhu Font in the top lane. It seems like they have a much higher chance of killing Cthulhu between Puppet and Witch than Malikan and Cersei have to kill Lodestone.
Speaking of that, Lodestone could be in some trouble here. He doesn't have mana for a rocket drill, and that could be perhaps why they are pursuing for this kill. He's going to use the golden apple here. One more auto attack from the Malikan. He's going to tank a couple of tower hits here. And he has another sword throw, but it's not going to be in range. So Lodestone will actually survive despite not having mana for that rocket drill. I think the golden apple kept him alive there.
Yeah, I was torn. I kind of wanted Legion to get that kill because I know they needed it, but I also didn't want them to get it because I just talked about how they aren't going to be able to kill Lodestone. And I didn't want them to make me eat my words.
Prove you wrong. I'm just fine with that. I see the rune gonna spawn here at the bottom here, regeneration. Midas will find that for himself. Merrick's rune did go to Master of Arms for Gladiator.
Yeah, there was an attempt coming out on Cthulhu's life, but he just managed to escape it. There are 3 in the mid lane here. Master of Arms is smoking, so I'm kind of curious what he's going to be doing with this Veiled Rod. It looks like he's actually running up to the top lane, or he's flanking mid.
Yeah, I don't think they see the Cersei here. He does miss the entrapment, and that could cue them to fall back. The acid bomb is down. Gladiator going to use the showdown. Here comes the call to arms on the Cersei, though. It will land, and this is some big damage, but not enough for a kill. He survives on 30 life. Also had the golden apple, so it was very close.
Gosh, Inhuman just thought he had that one all calculated out, and he almost did. She lived with 30 HP, but it was a really nice looking combo, just the way that he played it. But unfortunately,
very
doesn't get that kill.
Indeed. So we see Malikan picking up the Helm of the Victim. Is there an item you'd like to see him pick up first? Either, I guess, the Whispering Helm or maybe the Insanitarius could be some choices. Top lane, actually hold that thought. Cthulhu Font gonna go down here most likely. The Voodoo Puppet is gonna take him out there as he did trample to his tower, but the Voodoo Puppet's still attached to him. Gonna bring him down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most, you know, and my kind of pub gaming experience, the typical item pickup is Whispering Helm for, you know, just the creep stack availability and everything.
The Shatter Storm. Malikan did sword throw in. Is this going to be enough for a counter kill? The entrapment does land from the Cersei, and Malikan will avoid that Shatter Storm altogether. No, he does not have a rocket drill, and I don't see Lodestone getting out of this one. Here comes the possession from Malikan. 2 more auto attacks. There's the golden apple. This will take him down. So he did unfortunately miss the Shatter Storm there. Was not able to go for a potential return kill. But yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, I just think that Whispering Helm was kind of the go-to pickup on Malikan. If you're trying to go for early aggression, obviously Insanitarius is a pretty wicked option. It's a huge damage burst early.
In the top lane. Here's a Graveyard Stun into a mini, and Witch Slayer will get the last hit there. He also just hit level 6, so they did have the silver bullet ready to go, but not going to need the damage there. And you talked about how Cthulhu fought. It's a dangerous lane for him to be up there in the top lane.
Oh, extremely. I mean, Puppet Master and Witch Slayer have the double CC between the both of them, and actually the Whispering Helm was picked up by Malakin, so I was correct. Kind of curious how he's going to use it, if he's going to take over something like Skeleton King so he can stack his own Ancients, or... I personally am partial to the Vulture Lord. I love the Vulture Lord Tornado for assisting in farming and also base defense later in the game if you can keep it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what he builds into next, because obviously he's not going to be finishing that symbol anytime soon. So, you know, the typical item pickup from Malakin, I think, is Thunderclaw still. Attack speed is really valuable, and just giving him that cleave damage on his attacks are going to allow him to take out stacks. But you know, he can kind of cleave down stacks either way with sword throw. But yeah, I mean, right now you see Midas kind of getting some early stack farming in the jungle, as Lodestone's kind of looking for a kill in the jungle, just kind of seeing what's going on, but he's not going to actually find. He walked right past Cersei.
Man mode, walking into the deepest part of the jungle here. No fear really, but unfortunately for him, he's going to be there a little bit too late, as they did get cleaned up. I think my Midas and Aluna were working on those together. Now here comes a showdown in the middle lane. Midas going to try to warp away, but it's not going to work out for him. And there comes the combo from the Lodestone. The Shadow Storm actually blew up on the Cthulhu Fawn who poured it in. But Lodestone, he's getting hit by the entrapment. It looks like the fight might conclude here. A nice Graveyard Stun landing on the Cersei, but him being in the tree line there, they're not going to have vision to finish him off. So it will
fantastic
be the
ward.
Midas.
Sorry to cut you off, but just fantastic ward for Willowkeeper on the mid lane there, kind of on that ledge, just giving really good vision of the high ground, and also kind of in an uncommon spot. Isn't going to be countered very commonly. So I really a big fan of that ward. But Cthulhu Font, speaking of him having difficulty in the top lane, I think
Puppet Show gonna start off the fight here. There's the pitfall into the Graveyard Stun. There's just so much cloud control from this Hellborn team. And Cthulhu Font, he couldn't even move.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were talking about, you know, just they have a little bit stronger of a lineup because of that early access to crowd control. And you know, we mentioned Cersei as not being a strong lane presence, but now that the rotations have kind of come out in full swing, and the Hellborn is really active on all parts of the map, save maybe the bottom lane, you can actually just kind of see the boon of their
we have a kill
of all
here.
their abilities.
Witch Slayer gets caught by the Aluna and the Cersei. Looks like she goes down. We currently have Lodestone Veiled Rotted in the mid lane. I think that's about to wear off here in the next few seconds. Does have Shatterstorm ready to go. But as we can see, Midas is also Veiled Rotting. Lodestone going to pour it back to the bottom lane though. Gladiator could maybe be in trouble, but it looks like they have a hard time kind of finding that opening to catch him. He even now has the Shaman's Headdress on top of the Ghost Marchers. He's up to 470. Make that 480 gold per minute as he cleans up the creep wave there. Yeah, you talked about that early Bloodlust. It kind of hasn't slowed down since then for Gladiator.
Yeah, he's been sustaining this near 500 GPM the whole game, and just as you mentioned, you know, with this Headdress.
Shatterstorm being channeled, it's going to line up on the Aluna. The ports happen from the team support, as they will bring down the Aluna. Lodestone holding his ground for now, but Midas warping into position. There's the Master's Call though. Is this going to be a successful bait, as Puppet Master will get the catcher on the Malakin, and Malakin is going to fall. The Transmute not going to land there on the Master of Arms, and it's a 2-0 team fight here for the Hellborn side, and they continue to expand their lead now. 7 kills to 3 here.
It's spiraling a little bit out of control for Lazy Feline right now. I mean, Malakin really wanted to get that kill on Lodestone. I think Lodestone lived with like 4 HP. It's such a heartbreaker when something like that happens. I mean, they lost how many heroes there? 2 heroes?
2.
And they weren't able to get at least 1 in return, so...
So I've been meaning to ask you something. Ever since Malakin picked up this Whispering Helm, do you think he can, with just the Whispering Helm, rotate into the jungle and start working on these stacks? And then
he can.
And then also they could put Cthulhu Font maybe in the bottom lane to kind of recover his levels and get him some kind of farm going?
It's a good point that you make. And when it comes to something like this, especially with the losing situation, it is you kind of want to use your resources to maximum effect. The only problem with that, I would say, is that it just leaves the entire top part of the map
Oh,
open.
we have an initiation here, bot lane. Gonna start it off with a stun. The transmute will land on the glider. No, he is very tanky. Lands a two-man pitfall. Lodestone does go in with a rocket show. Cthulhufon's leading the front lines here with the obliterate. But the Master's Call on top of the gladiator. He is going to be healthy. He will use the showdown here on the Aluna, but there's no follow-up damage. So perhaps the TPs are not available from the team support, as nobody ends up dying here in this fight, John. A little bit surprised by that.
It is surprising. Malakin was just a tiny bit late to the party. His sword throw didn't connect. I think that's the reason why at least we didn't see at least one casualty coming out from the Hellborn side. But they really needed to get a kill there. It was kind of a little bit of a window there, but Malakin does find his way back into the jungle. He is kind of closing in on a Thunderclaw, but more to your point about, you know, should he have been farming the jungle stacks earlier? I think yes, and maybe no. I mean, the fact that Cthulhuphant was still in the top lane for so long kind of diverted some pressure from the bot lane for Malakin to be able to kind of stay there safely. But with the early advantage that Hellborn has, if Cthulhuphant were to rotate into the bottom lane, one of two things is going to happen. They're just going to be able to rotate 3 or 4 heroes down into the bot lane and just start pressuring Cthulhuphant and the jungle outright, or they just kind of have easy access onto this top tower. As you can already see, the top tier 2 tower for Legion has already been reduced to about 1/3 of its HP, and that's a big tower if they can get it. You know, you want to talk about resource advantage. Taking a tier 2 tower this early is a huge amount of gold. Do you actually know how much gold they're worth for the team off the top of your head?
You know, I should know this. It's somewhere. I'm gonna give you a very bad answer. It's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 gold for
Okay,
the team.
sure, but
It's somewhere in that range, I think.
yeah, and that's the problem with completely abandoning the top lane, is that, you know, that tower just becomes a sitting duck, and not only is it map presence, but it's just a huge amount of gold early for the supports, who are having a fantastic time, right? Like, you know, you want to talk about a scary support. Witch Slayer on 300 GPM. Yeah, there you go. He's got the PK finished. I mean, that hero is devastating with just that one item.
That's a really early portal key too on a main support. Having 16-minute portal key, 15-minute portal key. Basically, it's like having a sheepstick in early game now at your disposal.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get the blink miniaturize into the graveyard off on somebody, especially a core hero, that's like 5 seconds solid of CC. And, you know, Malakin getting CC'd for 5 seconds, not being able to life regen through his auto attacks. That's what that hero does, right? And that's just a problem.
The Master was looking for Cthulhuphant down in the bot lane, but it's actually Lodestone who gets spotted, and that could be perhaps why Cthulhuphant rotated out of bottom. His puppet was going for that kill. So they do pick off the Lodestone here. He does have his portal key picked up. They talked about the Witch Slayer portal key. Gladiator has the full barrier idol now. You know, we haven't really talked a whole lot about Puppet Master this game. We've been talking a bit more about Malakin, but he did go for the Elder Parasite early on and then the Shroud. Something I wanted to bring up to you. You did mention the Shroud, how it's very scary on the Puppet Master. Nowadays, we tend to see a lot of Elder Parasite pickups. It kind of enhances your farming speed. And we
I've noticed that in a few of my own games as well. People are loving Elder Parasite these days. I'm not really sure what the reason for that is. Maybe... I actually don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe people just kind of realize its value.
A few patches ago, I want to say several months ago now, it got changed. Nerfed down a little bit, but it's still in a pretty good spot. As top lane Malakin goes down to the Witch Slayer Lodestone. We see the power of the portal keys coming in there, and Malakin, he did pick up his Thunderclaw, has a Mighty Blade, but still, he goes down to the duo there. That's really scary.
Yeah, I actually wanted to mention the fact that we have two portal keys on the Hellborn side on very key heroes, Lodestone and Witch Slayer. Didn't get around to it, but we see none of the such on any of the Legion heroes. So that is a huge presence advantage coming out for Willowkeeper. having those PKs at their disposal, but you mentioned the Mighty Blade coming out of Malakin. Obviously, a Shrunken Head is much needed against Willowkeeper's lineup right now, but again, you know, Witch Slayer is just such a problem hero, right? Where you actually have to get the ideal initiation on your side if you are Malakin in order to use your Shrunken Head effectively, right? Before you get jumped by Witch Slayer.
Malakin could be in some trouble here. There's the mini coming out as the tower does fall in favor of the Hellborn. And he's going to get chain CC'd down. They're going to get the counter kill in Lodestone here. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, they take out the Cersei with Gladiator and Master of Arms. But I mean, big picture here, trading a Lodestone for the Malakin here. They get a tower on top of a Cersei kill as a bonus in the bottom lane. Going to further expand their lead now as well.
Yeah. I mean, 12k gold. This is, you know, you can just talk about the number of 12k gold, but, you know, really what it comes down to is the availability of items, right? Those are, it's 2 sheep sticks, right? That's how much gold that is. And, but I mean, obviously they don't have a single sheep stick, but they've just got big items. They've got 3 and 4k items at their disposal. And well, let's just say 2k items, right? You know, the 2 portal keys comprise about 1/3 of that gold advantage. You know, you've got a barrier, you've got a shroud. It's all coming together for the Hellborn side right now, and I'm not really sure what Lazy Feline is going to be able to do to get out of it. They just need a really big overextension from Willowkeeper, like under a tier 2 tower or something. Or just like a misstep going for a Kongor, as Willowkeeper is going for this Kong right now, but I don't think that Legion can kind of do anything to counter this.
Yeah, so we have Puppet Master getting, I think, close to his own Shrunken Head. Continues to remain the top farmer here, as he actually tanks the Kongor Boulder here.
I know you love calling that out.
He has the Elder Parasite activated here. Yeah, they're going to take out this Kongor here at the 20-minute mark. We'll have the first Kongor fall. And we see Master of Arms working toward the Staff of the Master. Do you think there's going to be a target that he could look to upgrade, or will this just be a staff for himself?
Man, in my eyes...
Gladiator has a staff effect.
Yeah, in my eyes, give it to that Witch Slayer.
Sorry to cut you off there. Midas gets popped by the Showdown. He falls. Lodestone going to sacrifice himself. So here comes the entrapment on the Gladiator. She's going to get the takeover here with the ultimate. And we'll see if he can line up the combo. There's the Showdown, but the Call to Arms, I believe, didn't miss. Malakin is here without a possession for 10 more seconds. So he's a little hesitating to go into this fight. Perhaps afraid of the Puppet Master, who's actually not here just yet. But Cthulhu Vine is going to get pitfalled up. There's the charge shot coming out. I don't think they have the damage here, as they are lacking Puppet Master's presence, but he is now here. Here comes the Shrunken activated. He will use the Puppet Show, but this is a pretty deep dive into the tower, as he does tank quite a few hits. And that will force Willowkeeper to fall back there. It ends up being only a 1-for-1 trade here, as many spells as we did see flying in this fight. Only 2 heroes end up falling in total.
Yeah, but it's a good one. It's a good 1-for-1 when it talk about it from the perspective of Willowkeeper's side, right? I mean, just their Lodestone has everything he needs, more or less. He doesn't care if he keeps dying. He's got his PK. That's all he needs. You know, whereas Midas is the number 2 position for his team, so he needs to be able to kind of keep up his GPM pace, where he's not doing terribly, but you know, just kind of in contrast to what we see on the Hellborn side, he is just not getting what he needs, right? Still don't have a blink on this Legion side, which is a huge problem. They just get opened up on over and over again by Lodestone and Witch. And, you know, in response to your question about, you know, who's the staff going on to, my eyes, if Boa can
in the
hit
mid lane on the Midas, here comes Puppet Master, Silver Bullet coming out. There's the Shrunken Head on the Puppet Master. He gets hit with the Master's Call as well. Counterstorm comes off, going to explode onto Malakin. Can he hold his ground though? With the possession, he's got the green sword up. He's healing, but here comes the damage from Master of Arms and Puppet Master, as they do bring down the Malakin in exchange for the Gladiator. And now the Cersei Puppet Master is on the run. He does use that Deceive, and it looks like Master of Arms following him there, but Cersei doing a nice juke in the tree line. Gonna throw out the illusion there, and I think he will be fine. So it ends up being a 2-for-2 fight. We have the Lodestone and the Gladiator in exchange for the Malikan and the Midas. And again, I think that's trades that Willowkeeper more or less happy to take, shutting down both the two cores of Legion.
That was a beautiful Shatterstorm. I am surprised that all three of those heroes didn't just get annihilated. Especially the Malikan, who was actually able to hold his ground for a surprisingly long time for having no armor. Yeah.
I'm with you there.
But he ended up falling, and he's really close to getting his shrunken head, right? About 650 gold, so, or 550 rather. So he'll get it, but you know, just again, the fact that his team doesn't have a blink. I mean, they need to get one on Cthulhu. I think Cthulhu Font, he's got to be able to start it off for his team. That's the
Yeah,
hero
and
that you
maybe
want
even
front and
Midas
center.
as well once he gets one as well. We have the Shatterstorm being channeled there, and Trapman going to land on the Gladiator. As the Shatterstorm is chasing, he's going to hit on the Cersei, and he will actually take him out. I think he head smashed the Illusion Cersei. Takes him out anyway. That was really nice to see. As Puppet Master also denies the tower. It only ends up being the one kill here as well.
Yeah, so Cthulhu Font's about 500 gold from a portal key. I hope that's what he's going for and opts not to finish the barrier, as he could. We're pretty sure he's going for the portal key. He would have been able to get the barrier by now if he wanted, and Midas just picked it up. But he's actually going on Boa. Is he going to get a kill on Boa? Nope.
Looks like Cthulhu not going to be able to chase him there. I think Moa should be pretty close to his staff by now, right? He's had these two pieces for a while. Maybe has
I
one of
agree.
them in his stash. Actually, we see the courier, I think, flying. This could be a Master's courier with the staff. Puppet Master is going to show himself here. We have the Veiled Rotted Midas, but again, they don't have any portal keys, so it's very difficult for them to get the catch here that they're looking for. There is the Staff of the Master completed. I think, I don't know if you got a chance to answer my question earlier, if there's a hero that they could look to upgrade with that legacy.
It's Witch. 100%
Okay.
is Witch in my mind. I mean, I already kind of mentioned just how frustrating this hero is to deal with if you are a core hero. As soon as it gets a PK, right, you always just have to be careful. You always have to be mindful of the fact that you have to go in with your Shrunken Head active, which Malikan can't really do that effectively yet because they have no solid route to initiating the fight. But also, right, you have the added layer as soon as Witch Slayer can get a Staff of the Master, and he's on a pretty good pace to getting level 16. Once he gets Staff of the Master, he just has like 1100 superior magic damage at his disposal. Doesn't really matter if you have a Shrunken Head at that point. I mean, obviously it does from the CC
Is he gonna get
standpoint.
caught here? There's the Dust from Master, and he will go down rather quickly. You know, the TPs are coming in from Legion. But I believe one of the TPs was stopped in the mid lane. We have the Call to Arms landing. Midas goes down. That's Cthulhu Font. He holds his ground, but they're not able to get any return kills here. Shatterstorm is being channeled by the Lodestone. He's going to stun onto two. They're going for the Cthulhu Font. They will burst him down. And here comes the mini from Witch Slayer on the Luna. It is 4 kills going the way of Willowkeeper. As we see, again, no response kills coming out from the side of Pick.
Yeah. I just kind of want to comment on how beautiful that graveyard stun from Witch Slayer was leading into the Call to Arms. I mean, it was picturesque. Obviously, the Legion aren't ready to CC.
He does have the Shrunken Head. See if he can get it off, though. He's getting chain CC'd quite well, but they did have to dive the tier 3 tower, and perhaps that did deter them from any chase on the Malikan.
Yeah, Malikan, you know, just having the Shrunken Head now, it looks like Legion is going to try to do something, but still, I just don't know. They still have to wait for another item. I think they still just have to try and keep it together until Cthulhu Font can get a portal key. I don't know how they actually take a successful fight without a portal key 28 minutes into the game. As Lodestone is now styling with a Codex in his inventory, so talked about how this hero didn't really need anything once it gets a PK, but yeah, a Codex is a pretty nice little bonus for a hero like Lodestone.
Oh yeah, he loves going the Codex. I think he does that every single game. He's even got it level 2 now. So gonna have more burst damage at his disposal. And I presume that he's going to continue to level that up to level 5. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue to level it. He's channeling the Shatterstorm here. Gonna go in on the Midas. Can he solo kill him though is the question. Oh wow! Look at that
Good
burst
grief.
coming out from the level 15 Lodestone. That's a level 2 Codex. Doing
Yeah.
extra damage. Meanwhile, bot lane, Feline gonna go down as well as Malik, and I caught the tail end of that. But that was Master of Arms and Gladiator. Just the two of them taking out the Malikan. Master of Arms goes down in the background to the Aluna, but Puppet going to open with the Shroud there. A 750 crit more or less takes out the Aluna. And we see only Cersei alive here. It looks like the GGs are called, and we will have game 1 go into Willowkeeper. Fairly dominant fashion here in game number 1. Any final thoughts on the match, John?
Just fantastic play from Willowkeeper. You know, keeping the pressure the entire time. You know, early plays snowballing into, you know, a solid victory, right? We saw the bloodlust coming out for Gladiator in the mid lane, and they just kind of kept that momentum going the entire time. You know, Puppet was given the free lane. Cthulhu just had to rotate out of it because of the nature of the two heroes he was going against. And then they just kind of transferred that pressure into the bottom lane, and Malikan just wasn't able to get, you know, his game rolling because he went for a farming item early on, but unfortunately, just it seemed like every single lane was struggling right out of the gate, except for maybe his own. But you know, just the fact that they weren't able to push Lodestone out completely, that hero was able to get work done as well throughout the course of the game. So I think going into game 2, they really need to kind of pick an all-star laning phase lineup and just try to match what Willowkeeper is bringing to the table.
I think I agree completely. I think this was a drafting edge for Hellborn, and then they played the lineup more or less flawlessly. I think if you're Pim here, moving forward, you may want to look into perhaps securing yourself some better initiation. I think the lack of a portal key hero, or even just a hero that kind of starts the fight, kind of really made them suffer in this game, because they really lacked the ability to kind of control any of the heroes from the side of Willowkeeper, netting them any kills.
Yeah, I mean, just you said it best, lack of portal keys. You know, you have to have that. You have to have solid initiation. Obviously, it was just a struggle to even get to that point, but it really starts to show up later in the game against, especially in a 5v5. It's something you can kind of get away with in a pub game, right, where there's like kind of lack of coordination. But whenever you have that 5-player synergy, you have to be able to capitalize on the tiniest mistakes, right? And you can't do that without portal keys, right? So
All right, I think we concluded game 1 pretty well here. We already got the lobby for game 2. The break will not be very long, hopefully, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after a short break with game number 2. And before we go on that break, I want to make sure to give a shout out here to Clantons again, who is organizing ClanTour 3.0 tournament. Thank you to Frostburn and anyone who has donated or pitched into the prize pool. And again, highlights of the tournament will be posted on tiktok.com/Clantons. So do make sure to follow. See you all after a short break.
Here we go. It's time for ClanTour 3.0. $1,000 and 20,000 gold coins on the line. The 8 best teams in Heroes of Newerth. 5 versus 5 tournament. Best out of 3 main event. Best out of 5 final. Main caster, What You Got, and Breaky CPK. The event is going down the 27th and 28th of November at twitch.tv/Clantons.
That they're looking to turn this one around on Geomancer, who did use his stun. Crystal Field is down, locking down Dampier. Will they have the Blacksmith rather? Dampier will jump in, he will get the 1 kill. He's trying to hold his ground with the Consume. Will he make it to safety? It looks like he will. The Dig Stun connecting onto both the Riptide and the Revenant. Here's the damage coming in from Donkey Kong as Silhouette joins the party, and they will bring down the Revenant. They will get the counter kill here onto Ripwalker, but here comes the 3-man mind trap coming in from Edge. Are you kidding me? Making a quad kill for Dude, and I think I might be losing my... They need Grip comes out on the Kong. Look at how low they are.
Oh my
Kraken
god. This
and
is
Electrician. Behemoth wants to go in. He
This
could
is
get a
gonna be
3-man
huge.
shockwave here. There's the 3-man shockwave coming in with the 2-man rather than Pharaoh, and it's a double tap coming in for Behemoth. Revenant is now on the run as they stole the Kongor there with that Behemoth shockwave, and huge plays coming in from the side of Fife. Will they get this Revenant kill? It doesn't look like it, but meanwhile, off in the jungle, Gemini gets a kill here on the Deadwood, and look at...
There's definitely going to be some kind of clash coming out. Master leading the train of pain that's going to come on top of Dr. Repulsor. Lowstone throws the stun in, but it's not going to be nearly enough to save him. However, the clash continues. Master, one more auto attack will finish up. Gets denied, actually, by the Dark Lady, but another falls on the Legion's side. Draconis trying to flap his wings and fly away. He does a little bit more damage, but he finally goes down, and now Chipper standing toe-to-toe against these, still battling it out. He'll fall. Rhapsody falls as well, though. King Clout wants to get the final hit on Torturer. Maybe gonna get a range here. Throws the Goblin. Needs one more. Not gonna be enough as Aluna's left behind, and Dutch Ownage, I think you're the one that's going to get owned here in the end. Okay, well, so this is just, you know...
I missed that, but they're going to have the jump here on the Clanks. There's the swap coming out as we see the Flux jumping in with the pull. There is no Keeper Root being used. Just he jumps in with the Keeper Root, and then Bubbles does fall, Luna does fall. There is double buyback coming in from both the Bubbles and the Bensington. Will they be able to hold this fight as the Shrunken Head not going to be used by Snooki there? He will fall, and he does have a buyback. So many buybacks being used. Can they bring down the Clanks as the Kelfield is holding him in place with the Shrunken Head down? And now it's going to be a quad kill coming out for Clanks. Make it an annihilation as he does end up falling. Finally, the buybacks are just so many. The first buyback going to be used by the Clanks here. Will he buy the post and rejoin the party? It looks like Clanks is here, and he is ready to fight. Solstice is on the run. He does not have a Shrunken Head, and Bubbles will also fall back as we have the first buyback coming in from the Solstice as well as the Magnus. What a chaotic fight. There's the second Keeper Root, and will it be enough to secure this team fight? The Keeper of the Forest will fall. Bensington, he is on the chase as the Clanks is pounding in the auto attacks. The GGs are called here, and game number 1 is gonna go. Welcome back from the break. We are now here in game 2 of our series between Willowkeeper and the Lazy Feline. Willowkeeper taking game number 1 there, very decisive fashion. We're going to see if the Lazy Feline can come back here strong in game 2 and force a third and final game, as this again is a best out of 3 round 1 series. I am again What You Got, rejoined here by EZfullClan. John, we saw a very dominating performance, as I just said, from Willowkeeper. What does the Lazy Feline need to do here in game 2 to bring back the series?
First of all, Willowkeeper is doing exactly as I would have done. Ban Gladiator. Hate that hero. It feels like it's too good. Feels like you have to play really on point and able to handle it. So just getting it out of the game, perfect decision in my eyes. Kind of touched on it at the end of the last game, right? Just a bit stronger picks in the laning phase. I really like the idea of picking a hero like Cersei. I just love the idea of Cersei if you can get it into the mid-game stage, because something I touched on, obviously there is the takeover mechanic with the Cersei ulti, but the illusion spam is fantastic for map control later in the game, for like breaking rots and just kind of potentially baiting out key abilities from the other team. So it's a fun hero to try and utilize, but it's really, really difficult to pull off, especially against a team that is as coordinated as Willowkeeper and kind of willing to just complete team objectives so effectively as they were. So I think that they just need to pick a stronger lineup and just kind of control their lanes a little bit better, going into game 2, and we'll probably see them fare a little bit better. Another thing, just a last point, right? That comes with controlling that early stage of the game a little bit better. Access to portal keys, right? We touched on it again in the last game, but it was a 30-minute match, and their side didn't have a single portal key, and it's a necessary item. Han, when you talk about Heroes of Newerth, especially team fights in this game, they can be decided within seconds, based purely upon who gets the jump and on which targets. So portal keys are, no pun intended, they are the key to victory sometimes. Like seriously.
That was good. We're starting the day off strong here with some good puns. I like it. All right, we got the bands done. We also have a few picks. So Moira, the Gladiator, and Nymphora. You talked about the Gladiator ban. I think that one was definitely warranted based on game 1. And then we have Andromeda, Monarch, and Kraken. So quite a few support heroes, I would say, banned here. I think I see 4. And then there's 2 mid heroes, the Gladiator and the Kraken, banned from the 2 sides. We have a first pick of Blitz coming out from the Lazy Feline. Already going to pick up an aggressive support hero. So kind of shying away from that Cersei, at least for now. And then we have the response picks of Lodestone and Aluna coming out from Willowkeeper. So they once again get their hands on the Lodestone. And something I want to point out, which I did see as before the Blitz was picked up, they were actually thinking about picking up the Lodestone themselves. They were shadow picking that. So Willowkeeper, they're not going to give them the chance. They're just going to pick it up once again. And Lodestone, I think it's safe to say he had a great impact in game 1. Had some very big shatter storms. I'm looking forward to seeing the Lodestone here again in game 2.
Yeah, he did a really good job of just kind of keeping himself a little bit stationary and a bit of a nuisance in the bottom lane. They were never quite able to get their hands on him for a kill. Cersei and Malakin. It could have been due to the fact that lane is a bit weak, right? They only had the one disable to prevent the rocket drill escape, and honestly, I can't remember who was playing the Lodestone. Do you remember who had it in his hands?
It was Riandro.
So Riandro, he was also very aggressive with it, if I remember correctly, right? He wasn't just kind of staying in lane to get XP, right? He was going in, right? And they weren't able to kill him because of their hero lineup. So I really, really want to see, stronger lane presence to try and punish this Lodestone whenever he just decides to man up like that.
Yeah. Even survived a few times without having rocket drill. So yeah, just kind of furthering your point of how aggressive he was. We have the Pharaoh and the Prophet pick coming from the side of Lazy Feline. So they will pick up a hero, the Pharaoh, who doesn't necessarily need a portal key. Kind of has that built-in initiation with the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Very nice for being able to get some early catch. But they also pick up a Prophet. So they're going to go with 2 kind of hard supports. The Prophet, to me, kind of tells that they maybe want to pick up some kind of hard carry, some hero that can really utilize this Invigorate buff that kind of steroids the carry into either flash farming very efficiently or being able to team fight very effectively with those extra auto attack, with the extra auto attack speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of options that kind of synergize with that. One that comes to mind immediately, just because we saw it in the last game, is Malakin. that is a hero that will certainly do really, really well with Invigorate on them. But, other heroes that come to mind is just like, let's just say Moon Queen or Silhouette or even like TDL, something like that. There's a ton of options that, attack speed is kind of universally a strength on any hard carry, so really anything goes with it. But it also, just the heal aspect of it is something that seriously carries a lot of value into just jungle sustain and stuff like that. So
You know what I love with Prophet? I'll give you two that I really like. Back from my old days with Complexity, we used to run Prophet with Riptide in the mid lane. Now we don't see that kind of nowadays, but Riptide with really strong base damage early game really benefits from the attack speed. And not only that, but Ravenor. He can build up charges on his ultimate super fast.
oh yeah, okay, I'm with
Now
you
I
there.
don't think they should pick up Ravenor this game against the Lodestone. Really good counter to him, being able to kind of make his tanky carry nature kind of thwarted by the Shatterstorm. But they go with a Corrupted Disciple into a Deadwood. So they will be running a Corrupted Disciple carry. I think it's safe to say he can definitely benefit from some early attack buff due to having the conduit drain. Doesn't necessarily need an item to kind of enhance his damage.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking up the synergy there. Like you said, conduit plus invigorate is a lot of damage if he can kind of stack up those conduit charges. But one
Mhm.
thing I'm noticing just a little bit about lazy felines. I'm just going to call them PIM.
Yeah, we'll
It's an
call it
interesting
Pim.
interesting acronym for lazy feline, but whatever. um, yeah, so one thing I'm noticing about PIM's lineup again is just it seems like pretty good on paper, but once again, they do not have the disable advantage, right, in comparison to what we see on Willowkeeper's side, who again are just every single hero on Willowkeeper's side has a stun, right?
Yeah.
Puppet Master has 2 disables, right? So again, it's just a really, really scary lineup that Willowkeeper has drafted with just excellent lane presence. And while the lane presence is still somewhat there on Pim's side, right? They just, Prophet's got many stuns. Blitz has a single target. Deadwood's got like this AoE immobilize. Corrupted brings nothing to the table as far as CC is concerned. So, yeah, I mean, it's just they're going to have to play it really, really well. And obviously, they probably are drafting, from the basis of comfort picks,
Right.
not necessarily trying to go for the biggest wombo combo. But I think that they're already at somewhat of a disadvantage going into game 2 based off of the draft. I don't know how you feel about it, if you agree or disagree, but that's my read.
I do agree with you in terms of like hero by hero, but I feel like their tri lane is quite scary. I think they have the potential to win this bottom lane. We're gonna see the tri lane versus tri lane matchup. As I just quickly want to go over the Legion lineup before we talk about lanes. They picked a Master of Arms into a Pebbles on the 3rd and 4th pick, and then the last pick was Puppet Master. So again, they get their hands on the Puppet Master. They have a very same feel lineup, like I think you were kind of bringing up, with a lot of the same heroes here. We have Puppet, Moa, and Lodestone, which were all picked up last game. The only differences being the Aluna and the Pebbles this time. So not changing really too much up, kind of sticking with their strategy from game 1, as that did work out very well for them. But the tri-lane of Puppet Master, Aluna, and Master of Arms will be going up against Prophet, Blitz, and Corrupted Disciple. That's going to be a fun one to see. I'll get your take on that in just a second, as we have Pebbles versus Deadwood in the mid lane. I think that one is that one tends to be a little bit Deadwood favored, I believe, just due to the early low armor of Pebbles. And then we have Pharaoh versus Lodestone in the top lane, which I think is a little bit Lodestone favored. But I want to get your take on the tri lane. Which side you feel like has a little bit of an edge down here in the bot lane?
I mean, I think everybody knows based off of what I've been saying. I think that the tri-lane advantage certainly goes to Willowkeeper. I mean,
Okay.
it's just all 3 heroes are pretty scary. Now, I think level 1, you actually might have a slight advantage for Pim, but as soon as level 2 comes out, I think that
Show here on the Prophet. There's the Emerald Lightning Stun. Master of Arms comes in. Now he is in a very awkward position. Prophet could go down first. There's the Golden Apple. He's going to use it. He'll stay alive. And now Aluna's getting turned on. And Aluna will go down first. So Pim gets the Bloodlust kill here. They throw out some more harassment onto the Master of Arms.
Hey, that's what I want to see. Pim coming out strong. And, EZfullClan on Prophet really, really showing up there. That was, I'm just going to say that was a fully intentional Golden Apple bait. Right there. He kept himself in range of auto attacks, and he knew that they were only going to be able to get one more set of auto attacks off on him, and big calculation survives with the Golden Apple. So shout out to EZfullClan on Prophet.
Yeah, they're going to get the Bloodlust kill on the Blitz, so we'll see. It looks like he picks up the Marchers. Middle lane, we have Master of Arms rotating in. I didn't see, did he walk there or did he port? Because
he walked.
So he walked to the mid lane. They actually had enough damage with just him and Pebbles to bring down Deadwood. And that's a really good kill coming out, which does go onto the Pebbles, gets him up to 400 gold per minute as well. Gonna get the bottle delivered here shortly.
Yeah, and it was something that I didn't really cover because, that carnage in the bottom lane happened so quickly, but you mentioned that Deadwood kind of has a slight advantage over Pebbles just because of the lack of base armor on Pebbles, and Deadwood is a very heavy physical damage hitter. But when it comes to Pebbles, you know, getting some assistance.
Top lane, Moa gets another rotation with the Lodestone, so the 2 solo lanes from Legion are going to be winning with these early rotations from the Master.
And we saw that last game. I mean, he did the exact same thing on his side and just made it really, really dangerous for the mid laner, as Deadwood is potentially going to fall prey to this again.
There's the stun from Master of Arms, the Acid Bomb is down, Pebbles has the full combo, and Deadwood going to fall. Very well calculated from the side of Willowkeeper. And despite the Bloodlust going to Pim, we see a 3-to-1 response now from the side of Tree.
Yeah, and honestly, the kills are just going in the right places for Willowkeeper right now. I mean, 2 kills on Pebbles. You know, kind of just disregarding the 1 kill on Lodestone, who actually is put his early gold investment into a live tube. So safe to say that's probably going to end up being a Helm of the Black Legion, which is pretty scary on a hero like Lodestone, honestly.
Big no, it's gonna be Shaman's Headdress.
Okay.
I'm almost positive because I've seen him do this before. When he has a good start, he tends to go into the sustain to just keep head smashing over and over.
Okay.
So I don't think he'll go a Helm. That's actually considered a
that makes a lot of sense
nowadays.
Sure, and I'm happy to receive the correction. I actually see the synergy with head smash because it is mixed damage, right? So the mixed damage to self, so the bonus magic armor is just going to allow him to keep that head smash sustain. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean, he's going to carry that momentum into, you know, high levels of frustration for Pim. But, you know, with 2 kills on Pebbles already, talk about a hero that can really control the pace of the game.
Oh yeah.
Pebbles is a fierce, just classic hero that really poses a lot of problems if it's able to get a good start. So
yeah, we continue to see Master of Arms roaming around. He has the Marchers now, almost trying to force the Pim tri-lane to rotate, where we now see the Blitz moving to the mid lane with Deadwood. We could see an initiation once again. There's the charge shot into the Pebbles combo. Nice illusion spawning, gonna block Deadwood a bit. He's stuck in the acid and he will go down. Master does get taken out in response, but again, it's another kill on the Deadwood, and they will be pretty happy to take out the mid laner there on the side of Willowkeeper.
yeah, and you know, Pebbles, once again, you know, Pebbles is able to control the pace of the game, but one thing that's kind of frustrating for, you know, Deadwood's perspective, having this many deaths early on, is, you know, let's just say it was reversed, right? And Deadwood was getting all of the early kills and Pebbles was kind of falling behind. Pebbles at least has some recourse to try and kind of catch back up in the game, you know. Stalagmites and Chuck are pretty good farming tools for flash farming, you know, once mid-game stage comes out, or even kind of rotating into the jungle and taking out some stacks.
Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh, though, lands onto the Pebbles. This could be a return kill. The Acid Bomb is down. Pebbles does not have mana for a Chuck, as the speed from Blitz will save Pharaoh. He comes back in for an auto attack, and they will take out the Pebbles. I think it's safe to say that was a much needed kill from the side
Absolutely. Of Pip. Yep. And it took, you know, it took 3 in order to bring that down, and the Pharaoh ulti is going to be down for another minute after that, but, you know, they are going to pay a little bit of a price, right? Lodestone's just able to kind of get a little bit bigger of a lead. I mean, I'm kind of curious what he's going to end up, you know, what he's going to have in store for the rest of this game, because he's got such a great start.
Yeah, he's up to 400 gold per minute, but mid lane we have Master of Arms taking pressure, but now Pebbles is here. That could force him to fall back. See if he decides to go in with a combo here. They might just take the Prophet out. Almost felt like Prophet sacrificed himself there.
A little bit, yeah.
Deadwood had no Marchers in comparison to Pebbles. I think they were expecting Pebbles to catch up. So he kind of just said, hey, take me instead, and I'm okay with that. I think that's going to be a good thing moving forward.
Yeah, a little bit of a GPM check.
Drain coming out in the bot lane. There's the Puppet Show. Corrupted gets healed by the Prophet, so it's going to be a bait to start things off. Here's the Corrupted Tide, and he will survive with the help of the health potion as well. That was a fantastic bait coming out from Corrupted Disciple. And Prophet gets there just in time for the counter kill, or the kill. As we have mid lane Wrath of the Pharaoh coming in. They do take out Deadwood once again, but Pharaoh, he had no mana for the wall, John, so they were not able to get that return kill on the Pebbles, as he did activate the Hellfire.
Yeah, and he had double damage. He had a pretty good chance of getting a return kill off on Pebbles if he actually did have the mana for the wall, but he did not, as you mentioned.
They're still going though. Blitz gonna get the slow, following up that stun, but again, no mana on the Pharaoh. That's gonna really hurt them when they try to set up these kills here. Unfortunately, we see the port coming in from Aluna. Glowstone also rotates over, but no kill gonna be had.
He
on
drew
the
2
Pebbles.
ports, and now it's Pharaoh sitting in the mid lane. Looks like Deadwood has kind of given up. Blitz, ooh, Blitz able to get away from that one with the quickness, or quick in rather. But I kind of actually want to just comment again on what we saw on the bottom lane. We mentioned, you know, kind of the synergy between Corrupted Disciple and Prophet with the Invigorate and Conduit, and we saw it in full swing.
Rune, we have a fight for the 8-minute rune. Regen will be picked up by the Master of Arms. Thunderstorm going off on the Deadwood. He does use the head smash, but not going to be enough damage, and Deadwood's going to turn it around with the Willowmaker. He gets credit for that kill, and Blitz going to go down to the Pebbles and the Master of Arms. Meanwhile, that was happening, so a 1-for-1, but the fight is not done just yet. Here comes the Hellfire from Pharaoh. He uses the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Pebbles says, "Get off me, bro," and he will chuck Pharaoh off of him, and he will survive for now. Master of Arms manning up in the Acid Bomb. Here comes another Stalagmite stun on the Prophet, but here's the Invigorate. They're not going to be able to turn it around for a kill on the Pebbles as the Prophet does fall. Master of Arms holding his ground now, but Pebbles, he got a little overzealous there as he does fall. Master of Arms goes down as Blitz comes in as well, and it looks like Pim will clean this one up in the end. They did fade their Prophet, but for a good cause there, as both the Pebbles and the Master of Arms falling there.
Yeah, Pim is doing excellently in this situation right now. Their laning setup is actually, you know, Pebbles had that early start, but you said it best right there. He did get overzealous. I mean, that was ambitious. Going back in, he's like, I got mana from my Lunar Tier. I'm gonna cast a spell on you, Pharaoh, and Pharaoh just looks at him and says, nah. And yeah, and Corrupted, you know, meanwhile catching a kill on Puppet Master in the bottom lane, who actually
good spot. I missed
yeah,
that one actually.
you didn't see it either. I did. Puppet Master actually used his ulti and didn't get the kill on Corrupted, so he's going to not have his ulti up for another 30 seconds. So Corrupted is able to kind of chill in the bottom lane here. But yeah, Corrupted's been doing a really. I was looking at his GPM a little while ago before all of that fighting in the mid lane happened, and it was kind of low. He was actually at like 240, but suddenly he's already back up to 350. So he's actually having a really good time right now, and kind of curious what he's going to go. He did finish the Brass Knuckles, so.
Top rune area, we have Deadwood gonna miss the Rotten Grasp here. Does make Master of Arms run into him though, gets a Willowmaker off. Acid Bomb is down, but Prophet comes in for the assisted kill here. And Pebbles not going to be able to get a return kill. Blitz is here as well. We have a whole bunch of people here in the mid lane as Puppet and Aluna rotate in. But I don't think they're going to get the catch here, and it will be just the Master of Arms falling. And prior to this fight at the top rune, we had Lodestar push the tier 1 tower in the top lane. He picks up the plated Greaves. He's now in the bottom lane currently, but he continues to remain the top farmer here at 385 gold per minute, so haven't seen too much of him just yet, but definitely farming very well.
Oh, Master gets caught by the wall in the mid lane and has made
Pharaoh.
quick work of.
Did use that Wrath of the Pharaoh. They completely outnumber Willowkeeper here in the mid lane, getting 1 kill.
So I'm actually
into a tower push though.
Yeah, it looks they have a bit of a creep wave here with the catapult. Probably not going to get the tower, but you know, damage is damage on a structure. It doesn't regenerate, so at least not without Keeper in the game. But yeah, I actually was just kind of astonished by the amount of damage that is able to come out inside of a Pharaoh wall between. Now Master of Arms is a pretty soft target, but we saw.
That's gonna stun up the Master here. There's a Rotten Grasp landing on top, and Master of Arms, he does use his call here, forces out the wall, but they're gonna have too many players once again, and they will get another kill here on the Master of Arms. He's fallen for the 5th time now this game.
Speaking of soft target, he does die again, but yeah, I mean, and actually I'm totally wrong. It's not Master of Arms that gets Master of Arms is not on Pim's team, so his Acid Bomb isn't contributing to the damage. It is the Rotten Grasp. So any target that gets caught by Pharaoh and just gets a Rotten Grasp
Shatterstorm
dropped on
top
them.
lane. Corrupted is going to avoid the rocket drill. Blitz is here, and this could be a definite counter kill. He's going to go for the port out. Will he be able to live? It looks like he canceled his own TP. Goes down. So yeah, that one was spotted out from the Hellborn side. Master of Arms now getting caught as well. Pharaoh getting a haste rune, and he will run over the Master of Arms. Pim, 13-8 hero kill lead now. They're looking very good here in game 2 as they take a small golden experience lead here at the 12.5-minute mark.
Yeah, they are shaping up pretty well. It is even resource-wise, but a big item pickup has just entered the game. Pebbles gets the portal key, finishes it in the jungle, kind of as I was saying, right? Earlier, he had a great lane setup, was getting early kills, but it started to receive some pressure from rotation. But he took that early advantage that he got, and just the nature of his hero having the big AoE nukes, and was able to finish his portal key in the jungle. So now he's got it, and we'll see if he's able to kind of surprise. Nope, he is going to get spotted by Pharaoh.
Top
So
tower does fall in favor of Hellborn. Lowstone going to use his rocket drill. He's getting slowed up by the blitz. We'll see if they're able to dive him here. Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh. They're not done, and Lodestone, he could end up falling. He's going to get Master's Call here. They're going to dive very deep for this kill. Will they even get him, though? They will, as Corrupted does have to tank quite a few tower hits. And Pebbles, he was in the mid lane. They were trying to get the kill on the Deadwood. I can only imagine if there was some TB support there for the Lodestone. They could have maybe got some counter kills, as they went quite deep there at the tier 2, but no kills happening in the mid lane with the brand new portal key from the Pebbles.
yeah, they are. I was just commenting on it as Lodestone got dived there in the top lane. Pharaoh was actually positioned on the ramp right next to mid lane and saw Pebbles walking into lane with the portal key, so they were aware of that portal key if they were looking at the items as soon as he picked it up. So they should know at this point that Pebbles does have the portal key and should adjust their playstyle accordingly. So, you know, though he does have it, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult for him to be able to use it.
Pharaoh going to run into Master of Arms here. He does not have a Master's Call. This is going to be a solo pickoff here from the Pharaoh. Razor PK played very well here in game 2. As Pebbles, he wants to go in for a combo here, but it looks like he was just out of range, so Pharaoh will escape as well. I want to get your take on something. We see an Alchemist Bones pickup on the Puppet Master. I want to hear your thoughts on that pickup.
I think, you know, it's obvious what he's doing. He's trying to kind of take this game into... he's trying to match the Corrupted Disciples farm.
Oh, mid lane, we have Pebbles going down here. 3 players in the area from Pim, as they will bring down the Pebbles. No counter kills happening again. We see a 16-8 hero kill lead now, so they start to expand their golden experience lead here.
Yeah, Puppet Master is just kind of adjusting his playstyle based off of the pace of the game, right? He's trying to transfer into, you know, a more hard carry style as mid-game approaches, trying to keep up with farm and Corrupted Disciple. Corrupted Disciple does have the GPM advantage, but he lacks the innate farming capabilities that Puppet Master has. So instead of going for an aggressive route like an early Shroud on Puppet to try and kind of keep up his team's kills, he's kind of couching that responsibility in Lodestone and Pebbles, I would say, and just kind of, you know, diligently farming, you know, constantly, while, you know, kind of showing up at not random times, but just showing up at the right time with his ulti available, which it is off cooldown right now, but he's, you know, once again, he's just not prioritizing using it. He's just going to use it in the case that, you know, Pim decides to overextend, which I like.
Yeah, so the one thing I will say, the difference between the Elder and the Alch Bones, which we saw the Elder last game, is the Alchemist Bones will allow him to kind of recover on XP and get him to level 11, level 16 faster, as we see a pick off here on the support. Pretty straightforward. Pharaoh picking up the puzzle box, by the way, that assisting for a kill. He's also going to find a Word of Sight there. Great usage of the puzzle box there. on top of getting the kill on the support. But it's going to allow him, the big difference is the experience he's going to gain from using the Alchemist Bones over time. So as you kind of pointed out, he wants to get to the later game stages, kind of keep up with the Corrupted. I also want to talk about the Corrupted's item build. He went for kind of a more aggressive route, but I feel like we've been seeing him doing a lot of farming more so. Master Arms gets caught in the bot lane here. I'm actually not sure what he was doing down there. Very deep down there in the bot lane. Gets caught by Pharaoh and the Blitz. He goes for not only Ghost Marchers, which I would say is a little bit unusual. Typically we see the Steep Boots. Fight middle lane is we're going to have to hold off on the item choices once again. Deadwood goes down here. Gets caught by the Pebbles and company. That was a Voodoo Puppet used there as well. But Pim, they want some return kills. They're not feeling comfortable going past the tower. Pharaoh was not here as well. We see a Shadow Storm being channeled. Speaking of Pharaoh, we'll see if Lodestone... Oh, he misses the Rocket Drill. Pharaoh does not have Wrath of the Pharaoh for 2 seconds. Will he go in for a kill here? He's going to spot the Lodestone. He does not have Puzzle Box, but the team support is coming over. And there's no Rocket Drill up for 2 more seconds. There's the stun from Blitz and the mini stuns from Prophet. But Lodestone, he's actually tanky enough to survive this. There's the Wrath of the Pharaoh, though, catching him. He does not have a wall up for 1 more second. He should have it in range here. Decides to go for a Tormented Soul instead. I'm a little bit surprised by that. And now they're turning it onto a Luna. I feel like they could have got that Lodestone kill. But it will be an onslaught streak for the Pharaoh here as the Pebbles combo catches the Prophet out. Rocket Drill does come out as well. And will Pim continue 4 more kills? There's the Willowmaker coming out on the Lodestone. A little bit of an exclamation point there, as he did pick up a portal key on the Deadwood. I think we failed to mention that one as well. But 20-10 hero kill lead now for Pim.
Yeah, Pim is keeping
Pebbles
the pace up.
Gets a combo here. Is there going to be enough follow-up damage, though? Nobody in the area. Just the Skeleton King from Puppet Master. He does grip him up. There's the toss back. Can Puppet get in range? There's some good body blocks coming in from Pebbles, and this might work out for them. They will trade the Pebbles for the Pharaoh. Now, they did get the onslaught streak from the Pharaoh. So 500 gold going the way of Luna. She actually got the kill with the power throw. Another Skeleton King grab from the Puppet Master. We'll see if Puppet's not really fighting the most. He's hesitating going in. There's the Master's Call, and they will use the strings there. There's the Voodoo Puppet coming in. They will take out the Deadwood, trading the Luna there for a kill. Pretty long fight, John. Is that one kind of?
Oh, it's absolutely chaotic. It's hard to keep up with everything, and you know, on the other side of the map, Corrupted Disciple made an attempt on Master of Arms Life, who seriously got out with milliseconds to spare. But, you know, if we can go back to item pickups, Corrupted Disciple picks up a light brand, so he's going for the Dawnbringer route instead of something like the Geo's Bane with his Fire brand. So,
yep.
How do you feel about that? Do you like Dawnbringer over Geo's?
I do. I feel like this game, I don't think he needs the Geobane that much, and we see the Dawnbringer very commonly picked up on the Corrupted. I wanted to comment on his previous choices, though. He goes for the Ghost Marchers, the early Brass Knuckles into an Astrolabe, so a lot of build-up items, a lot of items that suggest he wants to fight, but he's been farming a lot. I feel like he could have been a little bit greedier with his item build this game. Perhaps going too many early game items, which kind of slowed down the progression of the Dawnbringer. Typically, we see the Dawnbringer on a good game finished between 15 and 20 minutes, and then you already start to build into the Shrunken Head. So he's going to be a little bit slower in that item route, whereas the Puppet Master, he went for a much greedier build with the Alchemist Bones into Whispering Helm. I think now we'll either see the Shrunken or the Shroud picked up. Is there one you would prefer to see over the other here, as we're starting to enter the mid game now?
On Puppet, I think I would rather see Shroud personally. Now that might seem kind of like a noob choice because there is a puzzle box present on Pharaoh, but you know, in my mind, like Puppet, there's still just a lot of stuff that is able to catch Puppet, regardless of if he gets Shrunken Head off, right? Between the Pharaoh wall and the Deadwood ulti, and you know, perhaps Corrupted Disciple's ability to just kind of run him down, to where just
they're gonna spot out this Congo here, Blitz. He might get jumped by the Pebbles. There's the Stalagmites combo, but Puppet Master's getting locked down by the Pharaoh, and he will take him down. They trade the Blitz for the Puppet Master. The Pharaoh currently out of mana. Here comes the Shatter Storm being channeled by the Lodestone. Willowmaker comes out on the Pebbles. Will they bring him down, though? He gets locked down by the Rotten Grass. Deadwood gonna hold his ground. He will trade himself for the pebbles, and it will end up being a 3-for-2 fight here, as the numbers advantage was in favor of Willowkeeper. But is that still a worthwhile trade in the end?
Well, yeah, that's the problem, right? Whereas the numbers advantage, as you say, was in favor of Willowkeeper. However, they didn't get the kill on Corrupted Disciple, who actually does get caught by a Skeleton King, but...
There's the overcharge shot. Rocket Drill comes in. Power throw as well from Aluna. Corrupted, he did use his Astrolabe already. He's going to get the 1 kill, but he might die here as he goes down to the Aluna. And now I think the trade being that much better kind of makes it a 4-for-3, if so facto, in the end. A little bit
yeah, they got the target that they needed. You know, Corrupted Disciple didn't have to die there. He just got a little overconfident, deciding to turn on that Master of Arms. I don't think he would have gotten caught had he not done that. But obviously that was not a worthwhile trade for himself in the end. So Willowkeeper coming back pretty strong, getting a kill on Corrupted Disciple. But as you may have mentioned, he does have the Dawnbringer finish now. So really all he needs to do at this point is build the Shrunken Head, and he's going to be a pretty devastating force to reckon with. We see the Double Veil Rot. Lodestone and Deadwood, I love it.
Wow, they ran right into each other. Prophet gonna break the Veiled Rod of Lodestone. You see the stuns coming out. Sparrow gonna get hit by the Shatter Storm. Puppet Show comes out on the Blitz in the background. We have a Rotten Grasp landing on the Puppet Master. Master's Call comes out. He's holding his ground with the Voodoo Puppet, trying to get a kill. They do bring down the Blitz first, as there's a split fight going on. Deadwood is on the run from the Aluna. Meanwhile, the wall is locking down Lodestone, but Lodestone, he's gonna be like, you're trapped in with me, bro. I'm gonna take you out first, as it's a double tap for Master of Arms in the end, and no kills end up happening for the side of Pim. It ends up finishing at a 2-for-0 fight here for Willowkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, they just decided to take that fight without Corrupted Disciple being present. I think that it's, you know, they had been doing very well without Corrupted Disciple in their engagements, you know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago, but at this point, they need to kind of incorporate Corrupted Disciple into their playmaking decisions. You know, he's kind of got his core item to allow him to be able to fight. Obviously, he wants to finish his Shrunken Head, but you know, he just pulled up another 1k gold. I'm sure that's going to be made into a Mighty Blade, and you know, having about 1800 HP, I think it's safe to say that he could probably start joining some of these engagements prior to having the Shrunken Head.
Yeah, not only that, but we talked about how he went for that more combat style of build early on, kind of transitioning now into the more or less farming role. We see a Kongor being attempted here by Willowkeeper, currently below half-life, and no vision in the area from the side of Pim, as they had a ward earlier. I think that got countered as well. They're going to get the Kongor taken out here. First one of the game at the 24-minute mark. As we see, Puppet did finish his Shrunken Head, by the way. Corrupted
He did.
Currently working on his in response. We have a pair of tablets on the Master of Arms and the Pebbles, kind of dealing with the Pharaoh and the ability to kite the Corrupted in the fights.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of comment on something I was saying earlier. I think that I mentioned that Puppet probably could have gone the Shroud route, or maybe should have. That's not to say that, I mean, BKB is always going to have value, right? Shrunken Head is going to allow him to avoid a lot of damage, but I just kind of said that I think he should go Shroud, just to kind of assist his kind of roaming the map and farming capabilities a little bit further, because in my view, he is dead regardless of if he has Shrunken Head up or not, if Pharaoh and Deadwood are able to get to him in the course of a team engagement. But that's just me. I mean, his positioning is probably a lot better than mine, so he's able to use you know, Shrunken Head to his full effect and whatnot. But he has the Shrunken Head now, and so I'm curious to see what he's going to go for next.
Power falls top in favor of Tree. A little bit surprised they're actually in a gold lead here. I would have expected that to have been for Pim, but as we can see, you know, it's very plateaued in GPM for the entire team of Willowkeeper. They get a nice deny here on the bot tower. Looks like we won't have an engagement just yet. Pharaoh kind of scouting things out with his rocket here, but they will fall back. I wanted to mention how the supports of Willowkeeper, they have their kind of core items being picked up. I think Aluna is maybe thinking about a tablet. We have the tablet on Master of Arms. In comparison, the Blitz and the Prophet don't really have anything outside of Striders and Chalice. So, although the GPMs are relatively the same, they're all around 200 or so GPM. The Legion supports have more items here. We have the Wrath of the Pharaoh catching the Master of Arms. Man, he was very far behind enemy lines to kind of pick up on that and find the catch there and pick him off. I would like to see them do their Kongor now. Do you think Hellborn could definitely rotate over there?
I think Hellborn could certainly kill their Kongor. You know, having Corrupted Disciple and, you know, I think just Corrupted Disciple and Pharaoh could probably duo Kongor. Maybe with Prophet there to help with a little bit of additional DPS, but
yeah.
you know, just kind of piggybacking on your comment about item pickups on the supports, it does look like a second tablet is going to be coming out on Aluna, and you know, it's such a fantastic item. I mean, I think that tablet is probably one of those items that is never bad. You know, just because of how important positioning is in a game like Han. You know, tableting somebody who is stunned, for example, just kind of preventing a follow-up CC is such a big mechanic. But you know, it also just directly counters Pharaoh, and that's a really big consideration whenever you talk about this game in particular, because for Pim, Pharaoh is one of the heroes that has just been doing phenomenally for them, right? And if you can counter kind of the best performing player on a side with, you know, a support item pickup, what a boon, you know? It's just really able to kind of swing the pace of the game back into your team's favor with, you know, just a support item pickup, right? Something that's only 1800 gold, so.
And Pharaoh, he doesn't have the flashiest stat line, or flashiest GPM, but he has a very good stat line, 7, 4, 11. He's been present in 18 kills this game. I think that's the most of anyone in the match, so definitely showing his presence
exactly
here.
And he was
and as I say that, he hit the Wrath of the Pharaoh on the creep, so I did Caster's Curse him a little bit there.
It happens,
never fails. Never fails.
But no, I mean, you know, more to your point, he has been performing phenomenally, and he was that solo hero for the for Pim, and he's really been keeping their game alive for them. You know, on top of Corrupted Disciple, who had a really good and surprisingly strong performance in the bottom lane. He really caught me by surprise with some of the ways he was able to turn and survive and get kills. But yeah, Pharaoh has really just been keeping the gank presence alive for his team. And now that, you know, interestingly enough, we're talking about Aluna getting that tablet to further counter the Pharaoh, but he's actually not going for it. He's got 2400 gold pulled up. He's got the Guardian Ring, which builds in, but
I'm gonna guess Spike Bola, because he has a bracer.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Since they're against the single core corrupted, it kind of makes a lot of sense. And generally, I always forget about Spike Bola. It's like the item I always, for some reason, forget about existing. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there's a Spike Bola. That's a great item pickup. I'm gonna actually be smart for once and say that I think this will be a Spike Bola pickup. I hope I'm actually onto something here, and not just gonna be proven wrong. But
yeah, I'm gonna double down on your suspicion with that one, honestly. You know, he's only 600 gold away from the Agi piece, and then, you know, once he finishes that, it's pretty much unavoidable that he's gonna get it. And just as you say, right, countering Corrupted Disciple with that, who's got the BKB up now, right? If you can prevent Corrupted Disciple from using his damage that he's stored up from Conduit for 3.5 seconds through his BKB, you know, excellent. It's going to allow his team to perform and survive longer in the team fights, and
maybe. Oh, he went in, but a little bit too late. Maybe he didn't see the TP happening. And he's gonna throw out a Rotten Grasp here. Oh my, everything's off by like a couple of seconds. It's just so unfortunate watching that from, of course, we have God vision. The players don't know exactly what's happening, so you can't fault them, but it's just so unfortunate the timings of those multiple events there. Everyone
and something
out just before he could get the catch there.
Right. But this snuck up on me. Lodestone has a finished Hellflower. So
good point you bring up there. Didn't even notice he was building into that one.
Yeah, me either.
He had some Arcana pieces along the way, but That's a big item pickup. Typically we see either the Codex or the Sheepstick. He goes for the Hellflower, so he wants the extra lockdown, the extra damage amp on his combo. As we see the tower getting pushed in the mid lane from Aluna. Willowkeeper in the bot lane, I think they got the tier 2. I believe that was taken out as well. Actually, no, that was denied earlier in the game. I remember now.
Yeah, I mean there was a finished. I don't think you mentioned it. The finished Shroud on Corrupted Disciple, who's probably. I mean, what do you think he's going to? You think he's going to finish the full Genjuro, or maybe build into something else? Yeah, I think Genjuro is pretty appropriate.
We tend to see the Dawnbringer Shrunken Genjuro combo. I call it the holy trinity of carry items. Very common on lots of agi carries nowadays to see those three. So I think we will see the Genjuro. Pebbles, by the way, picks up a Staff of the Master. That's a great pickup.
I just
for him
noticed
this game.
it too.
And last game we saw Master of Arms build the Staff. Do you think we'll see Pebbles upgrade the Master this game? I think he's probably the best target.
He could. I don't really see. I mean, unless Master of Arms is like seriously considering kind of transferring into a semi-carry to try and bolster, just bolster his team's carry presence as the game goes on. But I think that Pebbles could probably build into something a little bit more aggressive than a Staff. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing
Spell Shards, Restoration Stone.
Yeah, Spell Shards could be really nice, and Resto as well. I think that Resto. I would like to see a Resto. I mean, Staff Pebbles with Resto is what a fun item to see. Fun item.
It's a lot of lockdown and a lot of extra damage too.
Yeah.
Being able to toss a whole bunch of people multiple times. We see Pim at the base here though. Very aggressive. Shadowstorm being channeled here. We'll see if they get the catch they're looking for. There's the Quicken though. And he will avoid the Shadowstorm. And now they're looking to turn it around. Losa gonna go down. Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh. A 3-man wall coming in though from the Pharaoh as Puppetmaster holding his ground though. Will they be able to turn it around? The buybacks are happening from Willowkeeper as we see both the Master of Arms and Lodestone buying back. Corrupted is manning up on the Puppetmaster in the base, but now he will be forced to fall back as the stuns are coming in from the team support. They take out the Corrupted Disciple, but what a fight at the base here, John. First saw a few buybacks in game 2 now.
Yeah, it looks like that was ended up being a 4 for 3, but it came at the cost of 2 buybacks, Moa and Lodestone. So Lodestone, just had that missed initiation, but it kind of ended up being for the greater good in the end, as they did end up getting a kill on Corrupted Disciple because of his buyback, who just dove a little bit too far for Puppetmaster into the base. He was so close to finishing off Puppetmaster, but unfortunately from his perspective, to no avail.
Astro Rhymes Invis here, currently stalking the Deadwood. Puppet's coming over. There's the initiation. The slow comes out from the goo. The Puppet Show's not going to tie him though to Master, and that's going to unfortunately make them miss the kill. So I was gonna point out, do they need to get something done with these 2 buybacks? As we see, they are going to get a base tower up in the top lane. They do more or less respawn on everyone outside of the Corrupted, but
well, I would say
the buyback's gonna be worth it in the end for just a couple of kills. Pebbles jumps in, gets a quick kill on the Blitz. No counter kill.
I think that it's worth it, personally. They ended up getting that very important kill on Corrupted Disciple, who, quite frankly, he is the single core carry for Pim. Aluna is getting killed in the mid lane.
Yeah, we see the wall locking him down. There's the Master's Call though, keeping him alive. He did pick up the Spike Bola, by the way. Puppet Show comes out on the barrel. There's the group chop from Pebbles. It is a 1-for-1. We'll see if they do look to re-engage here. I'm a little bit surprised that Pim not being a little bit more aggressive here. Just kind of trading their Pharaoh for an Aluna. And we saw Master of Arms counter push the bot lane. He took out the last remaining outer tower for the Hellborn side, and only one more remains for the Legion in the mid lane there, so we almost have all of the tier 2 towers taken out here in game 2. There's the Genjuro picked up on Corrupted. He goes all in on his items for now. He's currently still 600 gold per minute, about 100 above the Puppetmaster. And speaking of him, he's gonna find the Lodestone here. He uses the Hellflower, but I don't think Corrupted really cares too much about that. Just trying to get the chase here. He uses another Genjuro. See if he can hit him before the portal key goes off. Not going to be in time. Lodestone gonna be just a little bit too slippery.
Yeah, Lodestone able to barely evade death there. It was a good distraction, but you know, just commenting on what you were saying earlier, I think that the buybacks were worth it.
Mhm.
They did get the important kill on Corrupted, but also that tier 3 top tower, right? They were able to take that out in the span of Corrupted's resurrection timer. So, and that's going to be a big, that's going to show up later in the game, I could say. You know, not having that tier 3 tower available to defend those racks, it's really going to show up if this kind of goes into that 50+ minute mark where both teams are kind of just playing really clumped up together and the full space of the map is able to be utilized and counter pushing really starts to come into play, and that Rax is always going to be under fire if somebody is able to just kind of they don't even have to be there, right, without that tier 3 tower being there. They can just like kind of start the push on the far side of the map and just the creep buildup will threaten the barracks on its own. So, yeah, I think that taking out that tier 3 tower is really a big deal.
So both teams trade their Kongors. We see some more Kongors falling. I believe this is the second for both sides. Master of Arms, I saw him tossing and turning with his item progression here. He was holding about 4,000 gold. First he bought a staff, then he sold it. Then he bought a spiked bola, then he sold it. And now he has settled for a Nullfire Blade level 2. Aluna, by the way, gets picked off here. Looks like she was getting a little too curious in the Hellborn jungle, ran into a few enemies, and thus we see the support falling. I don't think that's by too much of a surprise, I think, at this stage of the game. But
let's talk about Moa's indecision on settling,
yeah, exactly.
on settling on an island, on an item rather, because he did end up finishing the Nullfire. I mean, do you like that? I'm not so sure I like it, to be, you know, quite frank. You know, obviously it's a item that makes sense on the hero, but I don't really know what it's for this game. To be.
See, hold that thought. We see Deadwood getting jumped by Pebbles. They're trying to turn it around though. The acid is doing a lot of damage. Puppet does get the kill there. They're trying to get the catch now. Here's the puzzle box being spawned. Corrupted getting the catch on the master. He's gonna go for the TP, but that's not gonna work out, as Prophet with the mini stuns was there to cancel it. And Pebbles, he's gonna go for the port out. I think he did avoid the Torment and Soul there just barely. Pharaoh also having his Wrath of the Pharaoh on cooldown. I think that's a big part of why they weren't able to get the catch on Puppet. That was who they were looking for. But yeah, the fight will conclude there. Again, only a 1-for-1. These fights, you would almost imagine more casualties, but the team's doing a pretty good job of avoiding death on both sides. So the Nullfire Blade, I'll let you go back to that one.
Yeah, so there's obviously, you know, I think Nullfire Blade is never going to be completely irrelevant, as it obviously has a, you know, slow mechanic, and it's got that dispel that can remove a few things, you know, just to list them off, right? It can remove Quicken, it can remove clear cutting buff from Deadwood, you know, blah blah blah.
But puzzle box, minions,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But you know, I'm not really sure, is that Moa's role this game, to try and kind of be debuffer, or is it really kind of just, I don't know, it has that dual functionality of kind of removing a few of the spell mechanics and, you know, obviously the puzzle box, but also allowing him to transfer into that semi-carry if he so wishes. So I don't completely hate it, but I'm just wondering if there's something else that he could have built into that kind of may have been a little bit more relevant.
I think the idea here is that now that Pebbles has the Resto Stone picked up, I think his next item is going to be Staff to upgrade to Moa, because he originally said, hey, will I buy my own staff? He right-clicked it, he sold it. So that to me means Pebbles is going to upgrade him. And now that he has the Nullfire Blade, you kind of talked about, that's going to allow him to become like a semi-core. They only have the Puppet Master as, you know, a single core this game. I think they've recognized that now that this game's going longer and longer, they're going to need that kind of backup core to go up against the Corrupted. As we see an initiation here in middle lane, Puppet Show going on the Pebbles. He can't get the Resto combo off. Will he do some ducks here? He's going to get sacrificed, it looks like. Lowstone was up in the top lane, Swift pushing a big part of that sacrifice. Corrupted does activate the Shrunken, and they will not get the catch on a further hero here. Meanwhile,
hey, well,
TP's up in the top lane. And Blitz, he's gonna get Hellflowered here by the Lowstone. He does Rocket Drill away, already using his portal key. Deadwood, he's on the chase, man. He wants this catch. Here comes the log. The Rotten Grass not gonna hit. There's the Willowmaker, and they will, I think, bring down the Lodestone here. So it will end up being 2 kills going the way of Pim.
Yep, and I think that's, it's obviously kind of best case scenario for Pim, in my view, because they did have the Pebbles get caught in the middle lane. Had Lodestone not been there in the top lane pressuring the racks without tier 3 tower, hint, they would have been able to stage a base push in the
Master
mid
of
lane.
Arms gets caught here by Wrath of the Pharaoh. They're gonna get another catch. Willowkeeper kind of getting caught all over the place here. 3 deaths in total now, as Pharaoh also has a Hellflower picked up on top of the Puzzle Box 3. That's a nice combo of items. Gonna prevent the tablets at least initially.
Well, it'll prevent the tablet on somebody who carries one, right? But they could still be pushed out if it comes externally. But with those additional pickoffs, yeah, this.
Yep.
Ooh, a Wingbow too. I didn't even see this Wingbow pickup on Corrupted Disciple. He is massive.
And he's got buyback gold here. He's almost on 3,000 gold. Luna gonna counter push the creep wave. Nice job by her to take out the wave there. She uses all 3 power throws. Gonna perhaps deter Pim from going for the racks here. They actually almost got the racks, by the way. It's on 500 life. I didn't even notice that they put that much damage on it, but good job by them.
Yeah, I was going to say that that pressure from Lodestone in the top lane actually kind of prevented them from receiving racks pressure, because after that Pebbles pickoff in the mid lane, they had all 5 heroes on Pim really close to Legion's base, and probably could have taken the tier 2 mid tower, for example, but with the pickoff on Moa in addition to killing Lodestone, having only 3 up to defend the top racks, I mean, that is why they lost their tier 3 tower. The top lane almost lost their top racks, but in the end, Pim decides to play it safe. I think they actually could have gone for that barracks, but they just didn't want to lose Corrupted Disciple. I think it's kind of no sense to use the buybacks if you don't have to, even though he had the gold available. I think they kind of recognize.
Run into Pebbles here. Pops the Shrunken, the Overload as well. There's the slow kicking in onto Pebbles. Now this is a pretty hard kill for him to get. He's gonna throw out the stun, but it's just a little bit too late. Just enough Shrunken duration there, getting him that kill. And that's another kill on the Pebbles. He doesn't have gold for a buyback once again. Let's see if Pim tries to take advantage of this. Meanwhile, we have a fight in the top lane. Then we're going to go down to the Shadow Storm and the pressure from Puppet Master. Trying to get some return kills here. But we have all 4 players from Legion up here. There's the Spike Bola and the Hellflower from Lodestone on the Pharaoh. They're going to get 2 kills. So although they lose their Pebbles down in bot lane, they're going to get a pair of kills on both the Pharaoh and the Deadwood in the top lane. And now Corrupted Disciple is more or less alone with just the supporting cast here. Not feeling comfortable with going for some base pressure down here in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 of those heroes kind of disappeared off the map. There's just no way that you can kind of put yourself in that position. But he sells the brass knuckles, just right clicks the symbol. Wow. So
all in.
Yeah, he is like going all in, and he's going to be really difficult to bring down. But they could still do it potentially, between Shadow Storm, Pebbles combo, and Puppet Master ulti. I mean, Corrupted Disciple, if he's caught without a Shrunken Head active, he can easily die.
Yeah, they have the one Storm on Blitz, but again, he has to be in position for that to all align. I think Lodestone just right-clicked a Sheep Stick.
He did.
Wow,
yep,
he's
I saw
really
that.
farmed this game. Got a Sheep and a Hellflower now. A lot of disables for his team. Just across the board on Legion, they have so many disables. Now it's almost coming down to whether or not they have the damage. So I want to see that Pebble staff for the Moa sooner rather than later, if they can get him that farm.
Yeah, he only needs 1,300 more, and I don't think he's really worried too much about pulling. I mean, what do you, what's the priority there? Keeping buyback on Pebbles, because he's a big part of their base defense. Or kind of getting that staff on Moa.
Man, that's a tough one to really answer. I do feel like the staff for Moa is huge, though. You get a big effect for half the cost, and at the same time, Moa's got 3,000 gold. He can build into another damage item if he wants to. You could almost even argue that if Moa gets 6 slotted, I know this is kind of best case scenario and this is very far away, but I think you could almost argue that Moa hard carries better than Puppet fully slotted.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if you're actually going to see that though in this game.
Yeah, that's a very long way away though. Of course,
Yeah.
he's only got the null fireblade for now.
Yeah, even that's like broaching over the hour mark for that to even become a possibility.
We might get there.
We could, yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
We see Pim going for a Kongor steal here, and what they're doing in exchange is counter pushing the top lane with the Pebbles. So is Pim gonna port back any heroes here? We see Pebbles porting back. The Kong is not being done that quickly. It's half life. Here comes the Shatterstorm. It's gonna land onto the Blitz and the Corrupted Disciple. There's the Shapestick, but the Storm Spirit comes out from the Blitz. And will he be able to get a symbol and a shrunken head off? Lodestone being turned on in exchange. Here comes the group check, and they are gonna lock him down, John. The Pebbles double combo coming in,
and they get the racks.
Perfect timing.
Get the racks.
And Rax falls in the top lane. This is like best case scenario for Willowkeeper, as everything's kind of aligning here. There is no buyback on the Corrupted. We talked about him going all in. He even bought the post haste there, broke the Ghost Marchers for that. So there is no buyback for 80 seconds. And we're going to see here if Willowkeeper recognizes that. They're going to go immediately to the bot lane. This could be another set of racks. There's 3 players dead. Only buyback on the Deadwood, but he's currently alive. And we see the mid lane being pressured as well by Lodestone and Master of Arms. One team fight could have just done it here in game 2. We're going to see the bottom racks fall, the full set going to be completed there. Meanwhile, mid lane, the tower going to fall. And this could very well be the Mega Creeps.
That's it.
BGs are called, and just like that, there's no hour mark here in game 2, John. This one's going to finish in 48 minutes. A fantastic team fight at the Kong Pit for Willowkeeper, gonna do it, securing their win, but also they will move on to the second round with a 2-0 sweep here against the Lazy Feline. Final thoughts on game 2 and the series, John?
That was just a fantastic back and forth. I mean, I know probably most people would have, including myself, would have liked to have seen a game 3, but that was a really good showing from both sides on game 2. Obviously, Willowkeeper ended up taking it in the end, but a surprisingly good performance from Pim. Just based off of what I thought of their draft going in, I think that they performed really well. Just unfortunately, Willowkeeper just had a little bit better. I don't know. Things just fell in line for them a little bit more effectively towards the end of that game. I'm just going to say, obviously you never disagreed with me, but man, no tier 3 tower in the top lane. I saw it happening, right? I saw it happening when that Kong attempt was going out. Pebbles was there, just cleared the creep wave, TP'd back home, left the creeps there. The creeps finished off the racks, right? While they just won that last team fight at Kongor. So it was just pure disaster, right, for Pim right there at the end of the game. And yeah, Willowkeeper just carried that game all the way to the finish, and just played it really well from start to finish, I think. So congrats to them going to the next round, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next series.
Yep, so Willowkeeper again, moving on. They will be facing the winner of our next series, which is actually scheduled to start in just a few minutes. So I think we will be on just a short break here, as we will have the Doghouse versus It Is What It Is coming up as our next best of 3 series. You do not want to go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got another best of 3 coming at you very shortly, so stay tuned, as we will be right back with Doghouse versus It Is What It Is.
Here we go. It's time for ClanTour 3.0. $1,000 and 20,000 gold coins on the line. The 8 best teams in Heroes of Newerth. 5 versus 5 tournament. Best out of 3 main event. Best out of 5 final. Main caster, What You Got, and Breaky CPK. The event is going down the 27th and 28th of November at twitch.tv/Clantons.
that. They're looking to turn this one around on Geomancer, who did use his stun. Crystal Field is down, locking down Dampier. Will they have the or Blacksmith rather? Dampier will jump in. He will get the 1 kill. He's trying to hold his ground with the Consume. Will he make it to safety? It looks like he will. The Dig Stun connecting onto both the Riptide and the Revenant. Here's the damage coming in from Donkey Kong as Silhouette joins the party, and they will bring down the Revenant. They will get the counter kill here onto Ripwalker. But here comes the 3-man mind trap coming in from Edge. Are you kidding me? Making a quad kill for Dude, and I think I might be losing my... They need Grip comes out on the Kong. Look at how low they are.
Oh my
Kraken
god.
and Electrician. Behemoth wants to go in. He
It's
could
gonna
get a
be
3-man
huge.
shockwave here. There's the 3-man shockwave coming in with the 2-man rather than Pharaoh, and it's a double tap coming in for Behemoth. Revenant is now on the run as they stole the Kongor there with that Behemoth shockwave, and huge plays coming in from the side of Fife. Will they get this Revenant kill? It doesn't look like it, but meanwhile, off in the jungle, Gemini gets a kill here on the Deadwood, and look at...
There's definitely going to be some kind of clash coming out. Drukamaster leading the train of pain that's going to come on top of Dr. Repulsor. Lowstone throws the stun in, but it's not going to be nearly enough to save him. However, the clash continues. Drukamaster, one more auto attack will finish up. Gets denied, actually, by the Dark Lady, but another falls on the Legion's side. Draconis trying to flap his wings and fly away. He does a little bit more damage, but he finally goes down, and now Chipper standing toe-to-toe against these, still battling it out. He'll fall. Rhapsody falls as well, though. King Clout wants to get the final hit on Torturer. Maybe gonna get a range here. Throws the Goblin. Needs one more. Not gonna be enough as Aluna's left behind, and Dutch Ownage, I think you're the one that's going to get owned here in the end. Okay, well, so this is just, you know...
I missed that, but they're going to have the jump here on the Clanks. There's the swap coming out as we see the Flux jumping in with the pull. There is no Keeper Root being used. Just Eddie jumps in with the Keeper Root, and then Bubbles does fall, Luna does fall. There is double buyback coming in from both the Bubbles and the Bensington. Will they be able to hold this fight as the Shrunken Head not going to be used by Snooki there? He will fall, and he does have a buyback. So many buybacks being used. Can they bring down the Clanks as the Kelfield is holding him in place with the Shrunken Head down? And now it's going to be a quad kill coming out for a Clanks. Make it an annihilation as he does end up falling. Finally, the buybacks are just so many. The first buyback going to be used by the Clanks here. Will he buy the post as he rejoin the party? It looks like Clanks is here, and he is ready to fight. Solstice is on the run. He does not have a Shrunken Head, and Bubbles will also fall back as we have the first buyback coming in from the Solstice as well as the Magnus. What a chaotic fight. There's the second Keeper Root, and will it be enough to secure this team fight? The Keeper of the Forest will fall. Bensington, he is on the chase as the Clanks is pounding in the auto attacks. The GGs are called here, and game number 1 is gonna go